Since its emergence in the 1950s, the Church of Scientology has been a source of great fascination. It has spent many of those years at war with the U.S. government, the press, and portions of the public. But behind the headlines are real people who have experienced Scientology firsthand. In this second hour of a special A&E presentation of investigative reports, we heard directly from those who remain members of the church and from those who have now left it. As you will see, their stories vary dramatically.
Remember, whatever you do it to yourself.
Well, it was a period in my life when I was having all kinds of different marital and adjustment problems. I went to visit a friend of mine, and he had changed remarkably since I had seen him the last time, and he was raving about Scientology and pointing at this chart on the wall of how you can, at this point, you have this ability, and up here you have the ability to, you know, exteriorize, and it's this whole progression thing that kind of interested me.
Well, actually, I had a boyfriend who was a Scientologist, and he brought me down to Celebrity Center, and I had a tour. And I looked around and I said, oh, this is nice, you know, and I signed up and I did a basic course.
I went through 9 years of Scientology as a client of the organization. I paid them a lot of money, and they, in turn, gave me something back.
I remember there was a time when I couldn't look at people. I couldn't look people in the eye. I was very sort of withdrawn and, you know, and you sort of get this skill and you drill it and you become better and better at it.
And you were taught to sit and have eye contact with another individual for hours on end. I'm talking not move, not blink, not twitch, not sweat, not anything for 2 hours at a stretch. And that's to pass one of these drills.
When I have received the Scientology or Dianetics auditing, I experienced a similar thing, a freedom, and in getting back in touch with myself and my actual views and opinions with which I can go back into life and do better.
I felt great, and I got rid of some stuff that I didn't realize that I was dragging around. And I said, whoa, I think I'll become a Scientologist.
You get a lot of things out of Scientology that are workable up to a certain point, and that's when he sets the hook. And you find yourself on a series of upper-level OT levels wherein you're not able to discuss your case with anybody else. You know, you're supposed to be acquiring superhuman powers. You're really not. It's emotional blackmail.
The idea is that this is a whole spectrum of ability that goes all the way up to telekinesis, that you can move things, people, with your mind. But in the beginning, you have to just drag them.
I hadn't seen my band in about 3 months, and we went to Zurich, Switzerland. And I came in, and they looked at me real weird. So, man, something's different about you. You look younger. I just look in your eye. And of course, I was eager to tell somebody.
If you had a problem, you came to talk to me, I could what we call reg you, sign you up for something. Hubbard's techniques are, it doesn't matter, just tell them you can solve it.
I was becoming increasingly worried about the high cost of Scientology. You know, we were up paying, you know, $200 per hour for counseling, which seemed excessive to me. You know, as professional therapists probably charge $50 to $100.
What I would do is I would just say, what do I want to do next? You know, and I would say, well, I want to do that next. That sounds like something I would be interested in. And then I would just, you know, gradually and pay on it, and before you know it, you've got it paid.
I became a Sea Org member, and from there on, I was 24-hour-a-day Scientologist. I had no personal life. I lived in Scientology buildings. I was fed by Scientology. I was paid my $17.50 a week when I got paid at all. In 1979, I was put in the rehabilitation project force because I made a joke about one of Hubbard's policies.
RPF stands for Rehabilitation Project Force. It is a program that is exclusively for the benefit of Sea Organization members. If they are stressed out, if they're not doing well on their job, if they're having problems, have them do menial type work and 5 hours a day of auditing and Scientology training. It's a fabulous program.
I was locked in a chicken wire cage that was in the basement of the Fort Harrison Hotel, where there's just huge boilers and dripping pipes, real gothic, you know, kind of scene.
They came banging on the door one night, early morning at 4 a.m. once, and they took my wife. It really lets you know what it's like to live with the Gestapo when you can be so controlled and so afraid that they can just say, your wife's leaving, to grab a couple of things, you're coming with us, and tell me to just go back to bed, and I go back to bed.
The stories I began to hear were incredible. My membership was relatively soft. I was never on the staff of Scientology. Nobody had told me that people were thrown off the ships into the water, put into the chain lockers. I didn't know. In 9 years, that's how secretive Scientology is, and it's the mentality that it creates.